There's a quiet revolution hiding in plain sight, and it didn't start in a lab, a university, or a billion-dollar agriculture company. It began centuries ago, in fields carefully tended by communities who believed the soil wasn't just dirt, it was alive. Today, as more gardeners search for sustainable, low-effort, and highly productive methods, the spotlight is finally turning toward the time-tested practices of Amish farmers. What they've been doing for generations challenges everything modern gardening taught us about digging, turning, and working the land. If you've ever struggled with compacted soil, constant weeding, or a garden that demands more energy than it gives back, this method will change how you see your entire growing space. The Amish approach isn't about doing more, it's about doing less, but doing it smarter. And the results? Healthier soil, stronger plants, and a system that improves year after year instead of wearing out. Before we dig in, take a moment to like this video, share it with a fellow gardener, drop a comment about your biggest gardening challenge, and subscribe to Garden Smart for more deep, practical wisdom that actually works. Now, let's get into the real secret behind Amish no-till gardening. At the heart of Amish gardening is a simple but powerful belief. Soil is not an object to control, but a living ecosystem to support. Beneath your feet exists a complex network of microorganisms, fungi, insects, and organic matter, all working together. When this system is left undisturbed, it creates natural fertility far more effective than any synthetic input. So, modern tilling disrupts this balance. It breaks fungal networks, exposes beneficial organisms to harsh conditions, and destroys the natural structure that allows soil to breathe and retain water. The Amish recognized long ago that the more you disturb soil, the more dependent it becomes on outside inputs. Instead of forcing productivity, they nurture it. When soil is left undisturbed, it begins to organize itself into layers, much like a forest floor. Organic matter accumulates at the top, feeding microbes and worms, while deeper layers maintain structure and stability. This creates a natural system of aeration through root channels and worm tunnels, eliminating the need for mechanical intervention. Water behaves differently in no-till soil. Instead of running off or evaporating quickly, it soaks in and stays available to plants. During heavy rains, the structure prevents flooding. During droughts, it holds moisture longer. Weeds also become less aggressive over time. Tilling constantly brings buried weed seeds to the surface, where they germinate. No-till keeps those seeds buried and inactive, reducing weed pressure naturally. You don't need to rebuild your garden from scratch to adopt this method. The transition begins the moment you decide to stop tilling. Start by feeding your soil from the top down. This is where deep mulching comes in. Lay down a base layer of cardboard or thick newspaper to suppress existing weeds. Then begin layering organic materials directly on top. Dry leaves, straw, and wood chips provide carbon, while grass clippings, kitchen scraps, and aged manure supply nitrogen. This layered system mimics natural decomposition. Over time, it breaks down and feeds the soil below without ever needing to be turned. What you're creating is essentially a compost system, right where your plants grow. Within weeks, you'll notice changes. Earthworms move in quickly, breaking down material and improving soil structure. The surface stays protected, moisture levels stabilize, and plant roots begin to thrive in the improved conditions. One of the most powerful tools in Amish no-till gardening is cover cropping. Instead of leaving soil bare, they plant crops specifically to improve it. Plants like clover add nitrogen naturally, while grasses like rye develop deep roots that loosen compacted soil. When these crops mature, they are cut at the base and left in place, the roots decompose underground and the tops become mulch. This process feeds soil organisms continuously while protecting the surface from erosion and sun damage. Over time, it builds rich, dark soil that becomes easier to manage with each passing season. The Amish don't rely on single crops spread across large areas. Instead, they use intercropping and companion planting to maximize productivity and reduce problems naturally. The classic Three Sisters method, corn, beans, and squash, shows how plants can support each other. Corn provides structure, beans fix nitrogen, and squash covers the ground, reducing weeds and conserving moisture. This approach extends to herbs and flowers as well. Strategic planting creates a balanced ecosystem where beneficial insects thrive and pests are naturally controlled. The result is less need for intervention and more consistent harvests. Amish gardeners focus on nourishing the soil food web rather than directly feeding plants. Inputs are simple and natural, like compost, aged manure, wood ash, and homemade teas. These materials don't just add nutrients, they support the organisms that make nutrients available to plants. Over time, this creates a self-sustaining cycle, where fertility builds naturally instead of being constantly replaced. The garden becomes more resilient, requiring fewer inputs and less effort. One of the most remarkable aspects of no-till gardening is that it gets better every year. Unlike conventional systems that degrade soil over time, this method builds it. Organic matter increases, water retention improves, and the need for weeding and watering decreases. Plants grow stronger, and the entire system becomes more stable and productive. What starts as a simple change in technique becomes a long-term transformation. You don't need to convert your entire garden at once. Begin with just one bed, apply mulch, stop tilling, and observe what happens. Pay attention to moisture levels, plant health, and soil texture. Each season will teach you something new. Adjust based on your climate, your crops, and your observations. That's exactly how this knowledge was developed, through generations of careful attention and adaptation. The Amish didn't invent no-till gardening as a trend. They refined it out of necessity, patience, and respect for the land. Now that knowledge is available to you. If you're ready to grow more with less effort while building soil that lasts for generations, this is your starting point. Make sure to subscribe to Garden Smart, share this with someone who needs a better way to garden, and drop a comment with your experience or questions. Your journey into no-till starts now, and your soil will never be the same again.